All right, there we go. Locker room access post-game show. Little bit of deja vu here, Fresh. I feel like we've done these post-game shows a lot lately where we're sort of melancholy. I actually tried to fake sick and not come. I said I had COVID, but Spencer made me show up. So
I remember you tried to call in sick, got called out. You had too many sick days already. So
yeah.
Hey man, what's that old thing? Friends don't let friends drink and drive.
Drive drunk, yeah.
I'm at the point of friends don't let friends tell their friends to watch UVA basketball.
Ooh, that was tough.
Ooh, sorry, that was tough.
That was a hard one, man, and I think it was difficult for anyone who follows the team closely and has seen that. That was a carbon copy of the Notre Dame game and then the NC State game. Almost exactly like NC State, sort of within striking distance at the half.
Yep.
And then, we always say first 5 minutes of the second half are really important. They seem to be a little more important to the other, to our opponent, because we typically take that 5 to 7 point deficit and it quickly becomes 10, 11, 12. And then you're playing, catch up. Which is tough. It'd be really easy to be negative and go through all the negatives. That will happen on forum.
For sure.
Let's challenge ourselves and challenge maybe anyone who is listening to what are some of the positives? Was there anything that was good? I can think of one, but
we're thinking of the same one. It was Jordan Minor, I think.
Yeah.
And that's I didn't see. I don't see us having two NBA players in a game like this, right? If you're an NBA scout and you think it's Reese and Ryan Dunn, Ryan disappearing act. I don't want to be negative again, but it's the kids. I think the third guy is Elijah Gertrude. He played the last 3 minutes garbage time. If he's a garbage time player at this point, after taking the red shirt off in kind of an emergency situation, that's not good.
That's curious. Let's dig into that a little bit. Very curious to me. The speculation coming in to the game was that we were going to have a new starting lineup. I didn't buy it. I was wrong. A lot of people saying that Elijah might start. Actually, the opposite happened. He wasn't a rotational player. They threw him in at the end.
Right. Well put.
That's one of those where, I'm not sure the player even wants to go in at that point, but he has to.
Yep.
I was in that situation a lot when I was like, oh shit, now, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it, but the game is over. You're already pissed, and there's really no upside there. If you make 4 threes in 3 minutes, which never happens, it might be good. But why do you think Elijah didn't play?
I don't have any idea, but I thought, when Reese went out in the first half, I saw Reese coming out, maybe 2 fouls. So I just instinctively thought, so Elijah's coming in to be the backup point guard. He did not come in. And that's rough, man. And to your point, when you come in garbage time, last 2-3 minutes, you're set up to fail, right? And you saw that a lot with yourself. If you're going to take a shot because you're open, but it's not, it goes in, doesn't, or Elijah immediately turned the ball over. But he was sort of set up to fail, right? The other guys are hungry. They're up 20. The Wake Forest guys are taking chances. They smell the blood in the water type thing. And I just don't think it's the right way to do it, man. I would just throw a walk on in that's probably not going to be a rotational player, as you said.
Yeah, the only way I can describe it is everyone goes on those 2-hour drives. You got an away game or you're driving your kid somewhere, you drive for 2 hours. When you step out of the car, you're a little creaky, your legs are sore. Same thing, but you're playing ACC basketball.
Right. That's right.
It's no different. You sit there for 2 hours and then it's like, all right, run around at top speed. You don't see anyone at work, sit there for 2 hours on their keyboard and then sprint to the printer as fast as they can, like 10 times. Just, it's very difficult to do.
Oh, you nailed it for me and you. You pull into the rest stop and you're driving, your kids are driving you nuts in the back and the whole thing. You just want to get out and go to the bathroom or get a coffee or whatever it is. And you can't physically even get out of the car.
Yeah.
And more so, it's like feeling part of the game and part of the team, right? You've watched the entire game for 38 minutes, 37 minutes. It's challenging.
I saw a question on forum during the game. By the way, I am so bad at multitasking. Like, I get sucked into forum and miss like 5 minutes of the game, so I've got to not do that. But someone did ask the question, is Elijah hurt? And I started to think, you know what, that would make sense why he hasn't played, because other than that, I don't see a reason why he wouldn't have been used rotationally there.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a bad week of practice. Maybe I don't know what, but I think that's something that's going to change. And to the point we made earlier about we had a new starting lineup. Who cares? Like within like 90 seconds. We had subbed Minor out. I think Blake was back in. Like guys have to get over starting versus non-starting and like see who's effective. So if we're picking positives, which we are right now, there was flexibility with Tony today, which we don't always see. Right? He changed things up a little bit, and I think that's welcome. I think we'd like to see that happen more. Now we'll just get into a couple of things. I made the comment a day or two ago that I didn't think our defense was the problem. I thought our offense was the problem, and that was certainly the case today. We're not going to win. We're not going to win games in the 40s.
Right.
So. We held Wake to 63 points. That's well below their season average. Yes, we had some defensive breakdowns, but it wasn't an F. It wasn't like they went out and scored 90 on us. What was our defense today? Maybe a B minus, B maybe.
I give it a B minus. It's also situational, right? The body of the game, you can play good defense, but when it really counts, you have to be great. And I thought today when it really counted, like, we're trying to get back, we're trying to get there. The English kid, he made a couple big shots. Their point guard, Booty, what's his name? I'm kidding.
Booty.
Yeah, they made some tough plays at the right times, and we did not make the tough plays at the right times within striking distance.
All right, scoring. One double-digit scorer, Reese had 10. Minor, we talked about his, having a good outing for himself individually.
Yeah,
9 points, 5 rebounds. Free throws continue to be a problem for us, although we shot a little better. We're 73% today, so about on. That's a good percentage. I think the top team in the country they mentioned on the broadcast was right around 79%.
Yeah,
and Wake Forest is top 3.
75. So,
let's look at our threes here. Which 33, we were 4 of 12. A couple of those came after the game was kind of decided, though.
Yeah.
Isaac 2 3-pointers in the whole game. They don't have his minutes up yet, but with heavy usage, 2 3-pointers. That's got to. How many would you like to see him taking a game realistically, averaging a game?
He took or made 2.
He took 2. He was 0 for 2.
Yeah, he's got to find the base has got to be 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy was leading the country in percent, and he was hitting long threes, jump shot threes, different style threes. He's got to find that.
Yeah, Tane hit a late 3 when the game was over off a nice curl.
Yep.
Caught it and shot it. He made that, and then Reese made 2 as well, but they were not impactful. is this the time where the coaches step back and really, we just had a week. We had a week to make some changes, and we saw some small changes. We saw
Yep.
some lineup changes, some minute allocation changes, but we still kind of ran our sides. We ran flow, triangle. Like, is it time to maybe say, like, what's the answer here? I was thinking during the game, two things. One was when we're down, we still don't really have a pressure package we can put on them. We don't have a 3/4 court trap or half
There's
court
no
trap.
there's no sense of urgency.
Right. And I get the philosophy of like get stops and then we'll build back, but it seems like that's a two-part thing where we've got to get the stops and then score. I do think we have to, down 13 at with 8 minutes left, kind of time to pressure those guys. Maybe get a couple turnovers. We definitely don't have that.
And the announcer made the point. One of the announcers said if Virginia can be below double digits at 4 minutes, which we were in striking distance, it was like a 12-point type of thing.
Yep.
There's just no sense of urgency of like let's push, let's do this and make a difference, and I don't see it.
So let's play hypotheticals here. So say the coaches get together and they say, you know what? We struggle to run offensive sets. We struggle to score in the half court. We need to get easy baskets. We need to run a little bit more. Put your 5 on the floor that you think would be able to jump into a much quicker transition game where we don't selectively run, which is what we do now. We actually run. We get the ball out and go. Off makes, off misses. Who's on the floor in a transitional offense for us?
I'll tell you who it is. It's Reese. It's Elijah. It's Rhodey. Ryan Dunn, and pick your big. Those guys, like, we watched highlights of Rhodey in his first year, wherever he played. He could do that. He was a transition guy. He's a gifted passer, supposedly, right? In transition. And you got guys like Elijah or Reese or whoever filling the lanes. When's the last time you saw Virginia come down on a fast break, point guard or the guard, whoever has the ball, and there's two guys filling the lane, and you have a choice, right? Remember the 3-on-2 break, 2-on-3, 3-on-2 we used to run? You just never see it, man. And there's
we struggle with that. The other thing when you run is you can kick it out. If you had Graves and IMAC in there, you're kicking out to guys.
Yep.
Guard goes in and will probe, get a paint touch or whatever. Kick it out to a guy. Those are like the most open threes you get is like that secondary break.
Yes.
As trailing and coming in. I think we have to look at that to generate buckets because in the half court, we're really, really struggling. Sean Singletary tweeted out or X'd out, whatever you want to call it, during the game. And one of our forum guys put it up there like, hey, they've got to play with a little more freedom. They've got to and it's really like this game to me was the game where I said, wow, we've really got to make some big changes. Not just change what sets we run in the half court. Like it's a mindset, and there's a lot of discipline around committing to running. We're never going to be UNLV. We're never going to be one of these Carolina, of the past where they're just sprinting. But can we do it effectively? I think so, but it would be a big departure for Tony. You think he can get there?
Well, I think you said it right. It's a mindset, and the mindset stems from coaches. I'll never forget our first year. You redshirted. I was playing backup to karate. And we went through a rough spell, and I remember Coach Holland said in the locker room, maybe we lost 3 in a row or 2 or 3 or whatever, and he said it's not panic time.
Yeah.
And we're first years, right? We're hearing the Hall of Fame guy, and like we don't know. Do I know it's time to panic? We lost back-to-back games. And he said, I don't know. He said it's not time to panic. I think we are at time to panic, right? You lose by 20 every time you go on the road in a real arena in the ACC. it's kind of a panic thing. It's the mindset, IMAC, if you come down the secondary break and you pull up and you drill a three, that's a game changer, man. That if you think you shouldn't pull up and take the three, miss or make, because you got to run the offense, flow, triangle with sides, like you said, that's the mindset. So
yeah, we've got to get IMAX shots, right? And the game plan right now is you just don't let him shoot from three. That's why there was a comment in for him during the game. I got sucked in. Why is he taking all these pull-up, these mid-range pull-ups? It's because they're not letting him get it
right
and look at the hoops. So his only chance, and he's doing the right thing, is to go in, take a dribble or two and pull up. He can elevate when he does that shot, and he didn't make them today. But, it's not like he's not choosing to shoot. They are guarding him differently than they're guarding every other player on the floor. They want Ryan Dunn to shoot.
Yep.
They're fine with Reese shooting. They're fine with Rhodey shooting. And Groves, they're kind of like letting him go now. So when you have one guy that can really fill it up, you face guard him. You don't give him an inch. Let him go by you. Affect a shot from the side, from the back, have help.
For sure.
And that is, I think, what is happening. So lots to think about. We've got Bass Tech up next. When do we play them? What day? Let me look here. We played Virginia Tech on.
I think we're back home, right?
Yeah, it's at home Wednesday. Wednesday the 17th. Again, a must-win for us. Yeah. That's obviously a big in-state rivalry game. They look forward to it. We look forward to it. They play Miami tonight at 7. Yep. That's a tough game. They have them at home. If they get a little momentum, the one thing Virginia Tech does, and we'll have a full scouting report on it, but they got some guys who can fill it up. They can shoot. You got Couture, you got Padula. And it's going to be a tall task. I'm hoping the return home to JPJ has a calming effect on us, where we settle in and we play a much better brand of basketball than we played. I remember late December, one of the guys was saying we could go undefeated in January, because February is when it gets tough for us. This is the hard part for us right now. The back half of our schedule is much harder than the first half in ACC.
That's right.
So we needed to get, some of these wins, maybe steal one at NC State or at Wake, not lose at Notre Dame. So we're really up against it right now. We've got to kind of go on a run. And I think the only way we're going to go on a run is to have some major philosophical changes offensively. But
I agree. So I looked at the schedule. I thought the very first part was really hard, and this team stood the test of that hardness, except for Wisconsin, which is fine. You lose one, so we're 8-1, 9-1, and then I saw the rest of them. Like, wait, we don't really play anybody.
Well, Memphis too. We got smoked by Memphis.
Yeah. That's fair, but that's fine. But then I was like, we don't really play anybody. I thought we would kind of not cruise through it. You never do in the ACC, but we would win through this part of it. And to your point, we have not. And it just makes it tougher, and the games become more pressure. The must win, you got to win, and it's tough to look for answers, and where it will come from in this team.
Yeah, when I looked at the schedule, I said the season's going to come down to Wake Forest at home, at Virginia Tech, North Carolina at home, at BC, at Duke. Those 5 games I thought were going to be what either allowed us to play our way into the tournament or exclude us. Now, we've got to go on a 10-game winning streak to kind of get back on the other side of on the right side of the bubble.
Yeah.
The bubble, all these upsets are happening around the country. There's been a lot of upsets. The bubble's kind of like shrinking on us. So two things are working against us. We're not playing well, and the bubble, there are some teams that are making a better case because they're maybe on the bubble, maybe on the wrong side of the bubble, but they have a big upset, then they move on to the right side. It's a double whammy for us right now.
Is the bubble malleable? Does it get
It
bigger
is.
and shrink and move and like an amoeba?
It's moist. First of all, it's moist. It's very, very moist, the bubble.
Yes.
So, and a little bit sticky. But right now, I'd be happy if we could reach out and touch the bubble. That would be
Right.
That would be good for us. But hey, we've seen it happen before when we go on these runs. The COVID year, we were not good early, and then we went on that great run, and the season got canceled. So we're going to have to channel some of that. I think we're going to have some philosophical changes offensively, and we'll see what happens. But I think the coaches will huddle up and maybe come out with this could be the most outrageous and different sort of philosophy we've seen, because what we're doing is really, really not working. Maybe they'll huddle up. If we triple or quadruple down, it could be a good long year. But hey, I have faith we can maybe pull this out. So that's why we stayed positive post game. I don't even want to look at Forum. My phone is actually smoking right now.
Yep.
There's sparks flying off it, so I'll check in with that in a little while. But guys, thank you for joining us. Locker Room Access post-game show will be back. Virginia Tech, half hour before tip-off. And stay positive, my friends. Stay classy.